Hey guys, Nathan Polk here. I want to do something a little bit out of my comfort zone. It's May. May is Mental Health Awareness Month. So I want to just take a couple minutes here to give a little bit of my story and what I've been dealing with the last few months. And then just give some encouragement to people out there who may be in need of help, in need of some resources, and either they don't know where to turn to get them, or they're ashamed or feel, like they can't do that for whatever reason. So a few months ago, I made a post on Facebook basically saying I was going to step away for 30 days to work on myself because of, my mental health began to deteriorate because of the PTSD and anxiety and depression, right? And what I didn't really do is get more into that or do a follow-up, and that's what this is. So back in February, I went down to Utah to a inpatient mental health facility called Chateau Recovery. And what that is, it's a place for first responders and veterans who are struggling with mental health to go and get better, right? Originally, I didn't want to talk about that. I was a little bit embarrassed about that. Social media, all we do is talk about all the positive things in life, the wins, right? Home sold or kids' birthdays. At least for me, I don't do a good job of talking about sometimes reality. And what reality is the last 6 months of my life, man, I've been struggling. And what I'm learning is it's not a one-off, man. Like, it should be expected in the professions that we're in that PTSD and anxiety and depression is going to hit you at some point. It's not normal for the average person to see death over and over and over, to see the gruesomeness over and over and over. Yeah, it sucks watching the news, but when you're actually there seeing the things, smelling the things, hearing the things, it's totally different, man. And over 14 years, I had just learned to compound and compress this and compartmentalize it and move on, right? You're taught, toughen up, you're a man, don't show your emotions. You're taught, hey, you're a cop. You don't have time to decompress and, go over the trauma that you've experienced, get to the next call. So the things that I was starting to feel on the inside were freaking me out. And I didn't know what was wrong. And I thought something physically was wrong. It started with vision. It started with feeling like I was having heart attacks. I was having bad dreams. I was waking up sweating. I was waking up screaming, reliving events that I was actually there again, scaring the crap out of my wife. And I thought all that was just normal. Like, hey, it's just part of the job. Like, move on. Learn how to push that back down. And what I'm really realizing and, educating myself on is it's not normal for people to see and deal with this over and over. And it should be expected that that's going to have a profound effect on you and your mental health over the years. So I want to be the person that is open and honest about my journey. And I want to be somebody that can express that in case you're sitting at home and you're feeling some type of things that you don't understand. If you're having mental health issues or PTSD or anxiety, I don't want you thinking that you're the only one, because for so long I thought that nobody would understand. Nobody knew what I was going through, what all that did was turn me into a not so good person, man. I was just sitting at home, drinking every day, isolating myself from reality, from people, getting mean and snippy towards my children and my wife. I was just deteriorating as a man, and I didn't even notice it. I didn't notice the slow decline until I had reached the bottom. So my hope would be someone catch what they got going on now before they hit their bottom. So I went to Utah. I went to the Chateau Recovery for 40 days. I learned a great deal about mental health, about learning to deal with mental health, how to accept it rather than fight it. That was my biggest thing, was why do I have to have this? I sacrificed missing birthdays and Christmases and 4th of Julys to help people, right? I became a cop because I wanted to help people so bad. And in doing so and helping people, I hurt myself, which then is hurting my family, right? Because I'm not the person that I need to be. And so the acceptance piece, I'm still dealing with. I'm doing a lot better than that, but I'm just really learning different grounding techniques, different holistic approaches. I've really got into journaling, meditation, ice baths. Ice baths for me have been the best thing that I've learned to do. Also in Utah, we did so many different holistic things, different Dharma, Buddhist, different teachings, Native American things. I did a sweat lodge, which was one of the most profound, that was one of the craziest days of my life. And I don't know if I would ever do it again, honestly, but I felt so spiritual, and I've never cried like that. And it was, man, it was deep. But they're giving you all these tools to take home, and their motto down there is skills over pills, right? For the longest, you go to the doctor here, man, they just pills, 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 pills. And they don't even talk to each other. So sometimes you're on all these meds and no one even, like the doctors don't even know you're taking all this because they don't talk for whatever reason. But what I've learned now as this last part of my journey is I have to control what I can control. And stress brings on more anxiety. So I've had to not talk to different people. I've had to avoid conversations. I still can't drive on the highways. I have a few times, yesterday actually, I tried to drive on 35E. Again, I almost crashed. I was going 40 and a 70. I had this huge panic attack. I had to pull over, ground myself. So I'm really working on that right now. But there's just so many things physically going on that I'm now having a better understanding of. And I just want to make it known that like it's very normal in law enforcement, medical staff, EMS, firefighters, veterans. Like it's very normal for us to feel these things and common for PTSD and anxiety and depression to hit you. And I have found that the more I talk about it, the more I explain it, the more I'm able to just be open with what I have going on, the better I feel. Because there's such a stigma, I think, about mental health and being a man or being a cop or showing your weaknesses that, you know, I'm just not going to participate in that stigma anymore. So I'm going to keep doing little things like this. I'm going to, you know, keep people updated with what I have going on in my mental health journey. Yeah. And again, if you have questions, concerns, or you want to talk offline privately and you don't want anybody else to know, like just reach out, because the people that have reached out, that's another crazy thing. People have reached out to me that I would never have thought would reach out to me. And that's awesome. And I know that just that little Facebook post I made reached somebody, right? So that's what I want for this video, is hopefully it reaches some other people. And reach out if you have questions, if you need, you know, a number to call a therapist or groups, or you want information about Utah and the Chateau recovery, let me know, man, because your mental health is so important. And don't wait till you're at the bottom to get help, because it's going to be so much harder to climb out of it. Reach out for the help. And that was the most amazing thing about Utah. There was cops, firefighters, veterans from the whole country there. And there was a few that were like 24, 25 years old. And that's so amazing that after just a few years, they were able to feel that they had the strength to get help that early in their career, and then just keep pushing it down. And I really wish that I would have had the courage to do that at a very younger age. And who knows where I would be at, you know, today. But mental health is something that I'm super passionate about right now. I'm going to be super passionate about, and I'm going to figure out different ways that I can continue to help people get help and services and just be a resource for people. So if you're having difficulties, whether you're a cop or you're not, I don't care what you are, man. If you're having mental health issues, or you're feeling anxiety and you've never felt it before, or you're having panic attacks, reach out, because it's debilitating, it's lonely, but just know you're not by yourself. You're not the only one that feels that. There's other people that understand exactly how you're feeling. So have the courage to reach out, man, and have those conversations. I wish everybody the best. And as we, you know, end Mental Health Month, just keep it on your radar, man. Help people as much as you can. Thanks, guys.